wherever you want. I just have more scenes, so I put it over here. So we have our initial scene up here. This is what I put on before I start my stream, and we can take a look at what's going on. So we are currently live streaming at 6,000 or so kilobits per second, 5,500. We have a 0 dropped frames. So when you see 0 dropped frames in your live stream, you know you are not buffering. You know you are live streaming at a speed that your computer internet connection can handle. So dropped frames down here is your internet connection. And if you're dropping frames, that means that YouTube is buffering. If I go into settings, let me show you here. We go to output, and this 55 kilobyte or 5,500 kilobyte rate is this one down here. Now there is some numbers added on here, and you can find out if you go into audio, your audio bit rate, and that's what determines the little bit of extra that's added onto here. And of course, if you are running a really active stream, it could go up or down as well. But the 5,500 kilobits bit rate is kind of just a guideline for your OBS settings. Yours might be higher or it might be lower. If you've watched one of my videos on how to set that up, that's going to be how you determine that. Now we're just going to determine whether that's going to work for you or whether it's going to cause buffering. And as you can see, we're not getting any dropped frames, so we are not having any buffering issues. So if we go up here to the stats window in the top left, we can see our CPU usage, our frames per second. So I'm streaming at 30 frames per second. The average time to render a single frame are 1.7 or 1.8 milliseconds right in there. Missed frames due to render lag is 0, or skipped frames due to encoding lag is 0. So this means that right now, the way we sit, my machine is capable of encoding the stream and doing it in a way that doesn't tax the computer. So right now, I am not experiencing any lag at all. If my machine was dropping frames due to render lag or encoding lag, that's where you get lag, where your voice is not in sync with your actual video and things like that. So when you're testing this, you want to make sure that you flip through screens, you make sure that you get your transitions working and doing all the things that you're transitions would normally do, so that you can see that you're not getting any buffering or rendering or any of that stuff. You want to know for sure that you're getting everything that you should. In fact, go through all of your scenes and make sure. In fact, you want to test your widgets. So I'm going to go into my stream elements and I'm going to test to make sure that my widgets are functional, and we're going to take a look and see if they're causing any render lag or anything like that, and everything is perfect. I'm not getting any frames lost due to render lag, encoding lag, and absolutely no buffering. But now you know where to look and you know how to test. And therein lies the very most important steps in determining exactly what is causing your problems. So now you should know what's causing your problem. Let's tackle the buffering issue first. The easiest way to fix buffering is to get a better connection. Of course, this can cost a lot of money, and some people may not actually have access to a better connection in their area. So in this case, you're going to need to make some trade-offs. So using this chart, we can determine how we can effectively fix your buffering problem. First, you want to go and you want to do a speed test on your internet connection to see what your upload speed is. And this 2 to 5 meg gigabits per second or 2.9 to 7.4. Well, this is going to tell you what you can ideally stream at. And then you want to go over here and look at your suggested bit rate. So if you're currently trying to live stream at 1080, 60 frames per second, you should theoretically, the top end is 9,000 kilobits per second. But let's say you're trying to stream at 6,000 kilobits per second and you're having all kinds of buffering problems. Well, you can still stream at 1080, 30 1080 frames per second if you lower your bit rate to 3000 kilobits per second. Now, you're not going to get quite the same quality picture at 3000 kilobits per second, but you can still do it without buffering. So if you're trying to stream a high def stream at 1080, lower your bit rate all the way down to 3000 and test and see if you can do a live stream without buffering at 3000 kilobits per second. If you're still buffering at 1080 and 30 and 3000 kilobits per second, then it's time for you to consider lowering your live stream to 720. Let me show you in OBS where you can adjust these settings. Here in OBS, we're going to go into settings and we're going to go to output, and right here is where we have our bit rate. So you're going to adjust this according to the chart, and then you're going to test your live stream again. And you can lower this based on this chart right here and still get a pretty good quality stream. Now, if you need to go to a lower resolution, let's say you need to adjust to 720,